I'm Ryan Callahan with your GoVols247 recruiting roundup. Last weekend was a fairly light recruiting weekend for Tennessee, with the Vols playing North Texas on homecoming at Neyland Stadium. Not the biggest game, so not a very large visitor list, but there was one top target from the 2016 class in town. Top 100 offensive lineman Landon Dickerson from over in North Carolina. He was back in town actually for the second consecutive week. Big for Tennessee to get him on campus after he hadn't visited for more than 6 months. To now get him back on campus back-to-back weekends. Definitely a good sign for Tennessee, and a sign that I think things went well, certainly that first time when he was back in for the South Carolina game earlier this month. So now Tennessee, I think, really back in that race quite a bit, a major factor going forward. They don't have an official visit locked up yet, but there was at least some discussion of that on Saturdays. Also some 2017 targets in town, including a couple guys from Michigan that Tennessee, one of which Tennessee had hosted before, but Jerayman Hall, a top 100 offensive tackle from actually John Kelly's old school, the Tennessee freshman running back, his former teammate at Oak Park, Michigan high school, and getting him on campus not long after offering him. Tennessee offered him just about a month ago, so that's at least a good sign for Tennessee in regard to his interest. Michigan looks like the early favorite there, but Tennessee maybe with a foot in the door, at least because of having John Kelly on the roster and having that connection. And then also Antoine Simmons, a three-star linebacker from Michigan, another guy up there in the Detroit area. So Tennessee got him back on campus. That was actually his third time to Tennessee this year, and a guy with 30-plus offers already. So I think there's at least some legitimate interest on his part, although it might be tough to beat out Michigan and some of the other schools in that region for him. Some Tennessee commitments also in town. Hunter Johnson, the five-star quarterback from Indiana, back in town. Always a good sign, even though he's been committed for a few months, but always a good sign anytime a commitment of that stature is back on campus. So you have to feel pretty good if you're Tennessee about how solid that one is early on, with him being a class of 2017 prospect. And then one interesting development this past weekend, one of Tennessee's commitments did visit another school. Auburn hosted three-star wide receiver Jeff George of Dodge City Community College out in Kansas. That could be something to keep an eye on going forward. He doesn't have an Auburn offer yet, but it looks like Auburn's taking a pretty hard look at some junior college wide receiver options, and he's one of at least 2 or 3 guys on their radar. So if they decide to offer, that could be something to really watch going forward. But Tennessee's still scheduled to get him back in town on an official visit actually next weekend for the Vanderbilt game, which looks like it'll probably be a big visit weekend with some junior college guys in particular. It looks like maybe 6 or 7 or more official visitors in town for that one if everything goes according to plan. So Jeff George will be one of those guys, and with Tennessee still getting him on campus for a visit next weekend, the Vols should be in good shape there for now. So we'll look ahead more to the Vanderbilt game next week, but that's looking like a fairly big official visit weekend, and we'll preview that coming up next week in the GoVols247 recruiting roundup.